Well, hello again, and welcome to Roland's Reviews. Uh, Typically, you don't see me live during the week. I have a day that I'll be working tomorrow, but I'll actually be doing a focus group. So I actually have uh, sort of a light day of work, if you will. And so type in the chat section, folks, in the comment section. Let me know. I mentioned this to you on Sunday if you are familiar with this documentary. So I watched the entire documentary, and I just wanted you folks to see some excerpts from it, or let me know if you as well have seen this particular documentary. I don't know if you're familiar with Joel Gilbert. He's a filmmaker. He's well known for doing documentaries and yeah, I just it just popped up on my feed, and I said, okay, I'll check it out. And yeah, partner. And so it just makes you wonder. And so again, I love to read, I love to check things out. So he's a filmmaker, and I wanted to play. I asked the question if people would like to hear some excerpts, and I always like to know what people's opinion is and what they feel about a particular topic, because it just makes you rethink. And sometimes, we do have questions about something, and then we'll be like, don't quite understand why, and something may not seem right. And so I just wanted to share um, some info with you and play some of the documentary and just see what you thought about it. Okay, so just listen to some of it, and then we'll discuss it.
I started looking into the Trayvon Martin case because of the 2018 Florida governor's race. The Democrat candidate, Tallahassee Mayor Andrew Gillum, interested me because he seemed like such a friendly, charismatic guy.
Hey, everybody, it's Andrew Gillum here.
And Mayor Tallahassee joins you now. Mayor Gillum, welcome to Meet the Press Daily.
What's up, Chuck? Go Canes, man.
But he had a surprisingly radical agenda.
So I want y'all to join me on this mission. Together, we're going to take this state back, flip Florida blue, and flip this country blue in 2020.
Gillum shocked his more mainstream Democrat opponents.
Andrew Gillum seized the nomination for governor despite being third in the polls just a week ago.
And then lost by only a hair to Republican Ron DeSantis in the general election. What caught my attention were comments Andrew Gillum continued to make during the campaign about the shooting of Trayvon Martin.
We know, certainly in my state, in the case of Trayvon Martin, in the same state where Trayvon Martin was killed, for wearing a hoodie, quite frankly.
Then it became about the Stand Your Ground law.
We can look no further than the situation between Trayvon Martin and George Zimmerman. And because of Stand Your Ground laws, he was able to get away with it.
I had followed the Zimmerman case closely enough to know that virtually everything Gillum said was wrong. The case had nothing to do with Stand Your Ground and everything to do with traditional self-defense.
Mr. Zimmerman has made the statement of self-defense. Until we can establish probable cause to dispute that, we don't have the grounds to arrest him.
What, I wondered, was the reason for Gillum to bring up Trayvon Martin so much? Doing some superficial internet research, I saw that Sabrina Fulton, Trayvon's mother, was a big supporter of Gillum. He's got my vote.
And the truth is, you know what? I'm black. I've been black all my life. So far as I know, I will die black.
How did Gillum's racially charged political narrative work so well?
I'm not calling Mr. DeSantis a racist. I'm simply saying the racists believe he's a racist.
I started to think maybe it was true that Gillum's improbable run was because of Trayvon Martin. So I started wondering, who was Trayvon Martin really? And what was Trayvon's true legacy? I needed to find out. I decided to produce a film about the case and how it affected American politics. In making the film, I got to know George Zimmerman. I got to know Trayvon Martin. And, much to my surprise, I got to know Trayvon's real girlfriend, Diamond Eugene. Diamond was on the phone with Trayvon just before he was shot. I uncovered how Diamond was switched for a fake witness in the most stunning hoax in American judicial history, a hoax whose consequences have been tragic beyond anyone's imagination. I would come to call this the Trayvon Hoax. The Trayvon Hoax was rooted in three major deceptions. The first was that George Zimmerman was a racist loose cannon. I came to appreciate how deep this deception was when I met George. I arrived in Orlando and headed to Sanford. On a cold Florida morning, George met me at a public park on the quiet Lake Monroe. He hadn't done any interviews since the trial in 2013. George seems smaller than you might expect, 5'7", and yes, he looks Hispanic, whatever that means. He is soft-spoken and unfailingly polite. Yes, sir, and no, sir.
George, good to meet you.
Good to meet you, Joel.
Thanks for coming here to talk to me.
It's my pleasure.
Can you tell me where you were politically in the years growing up?
Politically, I was a Democrat. I was an Obama supporter. I had been caught up in the promises of hope and change.
Our time for change has come.
I would say Barack Obama's candidacy did inspire me to become more active.
Can you tell me about your mentoring experience?
I was mentoring two African-American teenagers in a suburb of Orlando. Unfortunately, they had a father that was imprisoned for life, so they didn't really have a father in the home.
What kind of things were they getting into trouble-wise that you were able to help intervene with?
Unfortunately, as bad as pulling weapons on their parent or slashing tires, skipping school, really a variety of things that a lot of teenagers from that socioeconomic background struggle with. I take them to restaurants that they hadn't been to, kind of expand their cultural horizons. We spend a lot of time at churches playing basketball, just spending time with them one-on-one, letting them know that they're important. And then whenever I could afford it, I'd splurge and take them somewhere nice. It was inspiring to see a positive change in kids that had a troubled background. I got a lot more from the kids than I think they got from me.
What was happening at the retreat at Twin Lakes in the months prior to your joining up with the Community Watch program?
We were being riddled by crime. Robberies. We actually had home invasions.
I heard someone ring my doorbell repeatedly, and I saw two young African-American guys. They broke into my house. I heard some bangs downstairs, and he was shaking the doorknob trying to get in. And I was sitting there with a pair of rusty scissors and my son in one arm.
Neighborhood Watch was not something that I had thought of becoming a part of or wanted to be a part of. My wife had urged me to do something. I had seen in the neighborhood that there were Neighborhood Watch signs up, and I told her that I would go to the next homeowners association meeting. I was willing to do anything to give her a sense of comfort. The police advised us when they came and they spoke to us as a Neighborhood Watch group that we should call a non-emergency number if we thought there was a crime being committed or we saw someone that we didn't recognize in the neighborhood, and that it was better to be safe than sorry. Several other neighbors had called and reported suspicious persons, property being stolen, and I myself had called a few times. The police were having a hard time actually solving the crimes and catching the people that were committing them.
Can you describe when you left your house that night and why you stopped your car?
I was not on any type of Neighborhood Watch patrol. There was no such thing in the Neighborhood Watch program. I left my house that night simply to go to Target to do my grocery shopping, as I did every Sunday, to prepare my meals for the week. As I was driving out of my neighborhood, I noticed that there was a man who I perceived at that time In other words, in between the buildings, the rows of the townhouses, in the rain, in the cold, in no particular rush to get out of the rain or the cold. So I decided to do what the Neighborhood Watch program had instructed us to do. Call the non-emergency number.
What caused you to leave your car?
The reason I left my vehicle was because the non-emergency dispatcher asks me several times which direction did he go in. I felt it was my obligation, if I was going to call and ask for their assistance, that I should be at least able to give them an accurate description of where he had gone. But in fact, I had not seen him from the time I left my vehicle until the altercation.
Are you following him? Yeah. Okay, we don't need you to do that. Okay.
And when the dispatcher asked you if you're following him, why did you answer yes?
I didn't mean that I was actually following him because I never really saw him. I just happened to be walking in the direction where I had last seen him. I never saw Trayvon at all during that time. And I saw headlights near my car, so I decided to walk back to my vehicle, thinking it was the police officer.
And then when I got to right about here, he yelled from behind me to the side of me. He said, "Yo, you got a problem?" And I turned around and I said, "No, I don't have a problem, man." And he said, "You got a problem now." And then he was here and he punched me in the face.
Being over 6 foot tall, he closed the gap between he and I very quickly and sucker punched me and broke my nose. When he broke my nose, I lost my footing. I was disoriented.
He pushed me down. Somehow he got on top of me.
My head was about halfway onto the concrete and my body was mostly on the grassy area.
And he just kept slamming it.
He kept pummeling me with punches, decided to beat my head into the concrete sidewalk.
I started screaming, help, help, as loud as I could.
Kept going through my mind, is get your head off the pavement. You're gonna lose consciousness.
911, do you need police, fire, medical? Both, I'm not sure, there's just someone screaming outside.
Being on my back, all the blood from my broken nose was going down my throat and essentially choking me. He was also trying to smother me and stop my cries for help while he was in the midst of raining down blows on me.
Somebody here opened the door.
Trayvon Martin was on top, correct?
Correct.
And he was the one who was raining blows down on the person on the bottom, George Zimmerman, right?
That's what it looked like.
And he yelled at him, "Stop, stop, I'm calling the police." Even with Mr. Good yelling that he was calling the police, Trayvon didn't stop. He didn't let up at all. He continued his attack.
And then what did you do to get out of the situation?
I had shimmied my body down the grass to get my head off of the concrete sidewalk. It made my jacket ride up my body and exposed my firearm that had been concealed.
I felt his arm going down to my side, and I grabbed it.
I didn't really remember that I had the firearm on me, and I didn't think it would ever come into play.
And I just grabbed my firearm and I shot one time.
After I fired the shot, I believed I didn't even shoot him.
I didn't think I hit him because he sat up and he said, "Oh, you got me."
I thought he was simply stating that he wasn't going to fight anymore. He knew that I got to the gun before he did.
"I know you have a gun now. I heard it. I'm giving up."
My first reaction was concern for my neighbors. Where did the bullet go? Because of the position we were in, my shot would have gone into one of their bedrooms.
And that stunning video takes us right into the police station behind me.
What were your feelings initially as to how the justice system would work?
I had a great amount of respect and belief in the criminal justice system. In fact, I did a reenactment the day after with the police without an attorney present. I did several interviews without an attorney present. I even did a computerized voice stress analysis, which is similar to a lie detector test, without an attorney present. I believed that the justice system would work, but I still had to deal with the fact that I had taken a life. I was absolutely devastated. He wasn't that much older than the eldest mentee that I had. I was destroyed emotionally.
I drove to the courthouse, a regal-looking building on the outskirts of town. During the trial, the front was filled with television trucks from all over the country, even the world. The extensive grounds had room for hundreds of protesters, maybe thousands. I went inside to check out the courtroom. Just came from a tour of the courtroom. The deputies took me inside, and I could see how small it was. Anybody who's speaking in that courtroom, it is so tight in there, you just know if they're telling the truth or not.
These proceedings will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Thank you.
I saw where Rachel Jeantel testified. It's very close to the audience.
A letter she sent to Trayvon Martin's mother describing what she heard.
Did you sign it at the bottom?
Yes.
What name did you use?
Diamond Eugene.
I'm sorry.
Diamond Eugene. Diamond Eugene.
The effects of this trial are still being felt throughout the country. It really changed the United States.
Can you tell me anything that he might have told you during these final moments that no one knows about?
He went face down into the grass, and I heard him say, "Tell Mama Alicia I'm sorry."
Next, I went to check out the retreat at Twin Lakes. Still thinking about Trayvon's final words to George, "Tell Mama Alicia I'm sorry." I had read Trayvon was raised by his stepmother, Alicia Stanley.
You were his stepmother for a long, long time.
Yes, for 14 years.
14 years.
Trayvon was about 3 when I met his father. And Trayvon was to our house in my home 90% of the time. I'm the one that went to them football games. I'm the one was there when he was sick.
Trayvon had been sent to Sanford by his mother, Sabrina Fulton, because he had been suspended from school for the 3rd time in 3 months. I was not looking forward to this, but I had to come and check it out.
I want people to know that he wanted to live with me and his father.
What was Alicia Stanley trying to tell the world?
Lasagna time. The bread is in the oven.
After he saw George, Trayvon could have walked to his father's girlfriend's house in about 20 seconds. Instead, he spent 4 minutes on the phone with his girlfriend and circled back to lash out at George. Why would Trayvon attack someone and refuse to let up? What was going on in his life that led to this terrible decision? I decided I needed to get to know Trayvon. If the media would not tell Trayvon's real story, maybe Trayvon's own words would. Florida is an open record state. This means every document from every court case is available upon request. So I ordered up all the cell phone records in the Zimmerman case. They said it would take about 2 weeks. So you guys can tell me now, what do you think about what you've heard thus far? This is like a little watch party that we're doing. We know that we don't necessarily hear everything in the media, and everything that we hear is not necessarily correct. So tell me what you think about what you've heard thus far. And now we know that, of course, this happened and then several other incidents happened. And then that's when Black Lives Matter came into being. Okay, so they're saying that this case started it all. So tell me what you think. I'm going to let a little more of the video play. But if you look in the description box up under my video, I have this entire documentary. So I always like to share when I find things. I like to share them with you so I can get your viewpoint. Apparently, Trayvon Martin's phone records had to be subpoenaed because his father refused to give them to police. Then the prosecutors tried very hard to keep the records out of court. In fact, the defense spent 2/3 of their time demanding discovery. This was hard to understand because that's how Trayvon's girlfriend was discovered as an ear witness.
Her testimony that's shown on these phone logs, she completely blows Zimmerman's absurd self-defense claim out of the water. Mr. Martin, on Sunday evening, he had called the young lady.
And I had run for it. And then the man, and then he said he lost her.
They were dating.
And then the man called, and then Trayvon said the man was following him.
You call it puppy love or whatever you want to call it.
And Trayvon asked Trayvon to run. And Trayvon said, they don't run like that.
She is a minor child.
He's going to walk back. From the back.
Her parents does not in any way want to reveal her identity. She is a minor.
To the phone shut off. And I called him again. He had not answered the phone.
We have all the evidence now.
It was an incredible discovery. Within 72 hours of finding her, their detective work paid off, big time. Barack Obama got on board.
My main message is to the parents of Trayvon Martin. You know, if I had a son, he'd look like Trayvon.
Basketball superstar LeBron James and the NBA were in too.
Star player LeBron James writing R.I.P. Trayvon Martin on his shoe.
You know, for us to be in the position we're in, we're happy that we're able to shield on a situation that's unjust.
And Chicago Congressman Bobby Rush, the former Black Panther leader, helped put the pressure on the House floor.
Racial profiling has to stop, Mr. Speaker.
The member will.
These words. He
The
has
member-
shown you, oh God,
the member
bless
is no
Trayvon
longer
Martin's
recognized.
soul. He was a black man wearing a hoodie in a white neighborhood, shot in the head.
Black youth were organized and mobilized into student walkouts to protest. The phone witness had contradicted all the other evidence and ignited the public.
Here to demand that the state attorney charge this homeowners association loose cannon with murder.
And it is the search for justice for Trayvon that has brought us to this moment.
Soon enough, a special prosecutor was assigned and George Zimmerman was arrested.
Today, we filed an information charging George Zimmerman with murder in the second degree.
The prosecutor did not make a decision based on public pressure.
Let me emphasize that we do not prosecute by public pressure or by petition. I want to especially thank Mr. Crump.
The cell phone document finally arrived. It was overwhelming, 750 pages, including over 1,500 contacts, almost 3,000 text messages, and 3,000 photos.
And so I'll interject here again. And this guy, Joel Gilbert, if you're just coming in, he did a lot of research. And so he's saying that the young lady who was testifying wasn't actually, how you doing, Janice? Oh, good. I'm glad you made it, Janice. Tell me if you're familiar with Joel Gilbert. He's a filmmaker, director. And so he's saying that the whole Trayvon Martin case was a hoax, and that the young lady who testified, Diamond Eugene, that the dark-skinned, heavyset young lady wasn't actually his girlfriend. And so in this entire documentary, and it's like 2 hours, so I wasn't going to play the entire documentary. I just wanted to know if people in the comment section were familiar with the documentary, because I mentioned it on Sunday and some of you said you did want me to play it. So, and I'm not going to play all of it because he does read some of Trayvon's text messages between he and his girlfriend. And this is a family friendly show, rated G. So But I did want to play some excerpts from that video, but I did include the entire 2-hour video. And I'd like for you guys to watch it. You can fast forward and watch some of it and just tell me what you think about some of the information that was not known to the public. And now, Al Sharpton. So, of course, when something happens, he pops up. And he's been called a race hustler because he usually gets involved. And so when there are cases of this matter, and just so you know his history, and if you're younger than I am, you may not know. And so Google him and what happened. Find out what happened in 1987 with Tawana Brawley. She was, Chef says, who is she then? If she was supposed to be his real girlfriend, I remember right, Chef. So he found another young lady who he said is actually Diamond Eugene. So if you watch the entire documentary, it's going to leave you like, whoa. So he's saying that they switched, which now when that girl was testifying, I was thinking now, okay, he was a nice looking guy. Trayvon was a nice looking guy. And that's who they had on the stand as his girlfriend. But this guy who did the documentary, Mr. Gilbert, I think I stopped it where he was going through over 700 text messages, and Trayvon had pictures of a lot of girls. He didn't have any of this young lady who testified. So it's just very interesting. It does make you ask questions. And like I said, anytime Al Sharpton gets involved with something, I'm always a little leery. Depending on how old you are, you may not know his history. I do. And he's one of the most world-renowned race hustlers. He is. And 1987, Google what happened in 1987 with a young lady named Tawana Brawley. She said that she was kidnapped and assaulted by 6 white men, 2 of whom were police officers in Dutchess County, New York. And he took up the case, and he just would not let it go, even when he found out the truth. And that she made up a pack of lies because she didn't want to get in trouble. But yeah, she had KKK carved into her skin and feces in her hair and on her face and all this stuff. And she said she was left on the side of the road. And he, again, he took her case up. And even when he found out that it had been fabricated, he would not apologize. And so at that time, Stephen Pagonis was the prosecutor, and he did file a defamation lawsuit against Al Sharpton in 1998, and he did win. Okay. So again, if you don't know some of these people, depending on your age, you might sometimes just have to do a little Googling and find out who they are and what they, have actually done. And like I said, I don't want to play the entire video. I just shared it. I pride myself on this channel because I know some people do have their children watching, and I don't want anything. I don't want them to hear anything that they should not be hearing. So if you check out the video in the description box, you will hear everything. But this guy, like I said, he did a lot of research, 2-hour documentary, and it just makes you think, folks. So you get to hear a different side. I found out because the picture that they were portraying, the media was portraying, of course, it was that he was, just a good kid. But this guy did some digging, and he had been. How you doing, Jeff? Oh, I'm great. I hope that you are. Tell me if you're familiar with this documentary. And so, yeah, he had been suspended from school 3 times. This guy, of course, this generation, they put everything on their social media pages. So he went to his, social media page. He's smoking marijuana, drinking that, what's that drink? Lean, where you're mixing, I think, cough syrup with, Skittles and I don't know what else. And so, and he was he said that he was a gangster. And also, he was getting into selling guns. And so this guy that did the documentary, if you watch the entire documentary, you'll see everything that I'm telling you. Um, it's in there. So I found out a lot of things that I did not know, and it's public knowledge. Again, this generation, unfortunately, they put everything on their social media pages, so you pretty much know what's going on with them at all times. So I didn't know that, and so according to this guy, this whole charade, this whole situation uh, was to get money from the homeowners association. So tell me what you think. And like I said, he has some valid points. Now he has some receipts, and like I said, it just makes you think. And if you're like me, when you watch the news and things that are out here in the media, you have to dig deeper because they will tell you anything. You have to find out from more than one source. And that's what I try to do. So, like I said, this documentary popped up in my feed and I watched the entire documentary and I was like, oh my God. So who knows? Who really knows? And it's just sad that, someone lost their life. But according to Mr. Zimmerman, he said that Trayvon attacked him. But now, if we're now, men, that testosterone may have kicked in. He not knowing who he was, and if you feel someone's following you, you may do something that you wouldn't normally do. But this director found that a lot of fight videos on Trayvon's. He had a YouTube channel. He had a lot of fight videos that he liked fighting. So who really knows? Because none of us was, there. But like I said, it's just an interesting take, and I just wanted to share that with you. So when you get a chance, those of you that are here, I'm not going to be before you long, but I just wanted to come live because a couple of you said you wanted me to talk about this topic. But please, please, please check out the video in the description box once I end this live stream and tell me what you think. And I'm probably not going to play any more of it. But tell me what you think. And I'll see you guys, I guess, on Sunday. Partner, chef, let me know when we're going to get together because people want to see you. So we can talk about, you can give us some firsthand knowledge about what's going on with the illegal immigration situation there in Chicago. So I hope all of you have a wonderful evening. And wow, would you say, partner? Wow, what is all this coverage in the? Yes, partner. The documentary is 2 hours. That's why those of you that are here, I would love for you to watch the documentary and then leave comments. I don't want to play the entire documentary because it does have some profanity where he's just reading the text messages from Trayvon Martin and his girlfriend. And teenagers use profanity. And I just didn't want to play that on this channel. I pride myself with this being a child-friendly station. So I didn't want to play the whole thing, but I played some excerpts that didn't have any profanity, and that makes me feel good. Okay, but please, guys, those of you that are here, share this with other people and see, and just tell me what you think because it does make you ask questions. Because I swear, I did think, why, that doesn't look like the type of young lady that he would date. And then if you look at all the pictures of the girls that he dated, the pictures in his phone, none of them looks like the young lady who testified. So this guy, how you doing, Jermaine? That's all right, Jermaine. Thanks for stopping in. This guy finally tracked down the real Diamond Eugene. And you see that at the very end of the documentary. So you guys check it out. It took him a long time, but he found her. And she's very successful. She's doing well. But let me know. And remember the young lady that they had actually testifying. You'll find out in the documentary, she was 18 years old. She was still in the ninth grade. She has a learning disability. Uh, and I think that the defense, the prosecution just took advantage of her. She didn't know what she was doing or saying. And if you guys remember, um, when the case was over, everyone was laughing, but she's learning disabled, and she was being led. So tell me what you think, and I'm going to let you guys go because some of us have to go to work in the morning. Okay. Thank you for stopping in. But once you watch that documentary, please let me know. Leave me comments. Those of you who have been here on the station for a while, I may not answer it right then and there, but I always answer all of my comments. So watch that documentary. It's in the description box. Okay. Everyone have an enjoyable evening, and I'll see you Sunday at 4 o'clock. Janice says, I will need to watch the entire video to be able to give a coherent response. Okay, Janice, that sounds good. Please, dear, please watch it. Yeah, Chef, I told you, I started watching the video and I couldn't turn it off, and it's 2 hours. And I was just like, what? And basically he was saying that this was a money situation. So watch it, and please leave me a comment, share it with people, and find out what they think. Jeff says, I'm very familiar. I left a comment asking you to do this. It was all to make that white dude look innocent. Okay, how you doing, Lola? That's fine. I just wanted to those of you just coming in, I shared some of the video, the Trayvon Hoax, and it's a 2-hour documentary about the Trayvon Martin case and how it was a hoax and it was all a money situation. It was a money grab, basically, is what this guy, what he finds out. And so you guys, I played, Lola, dear, I played some excerpts from the video. So when you get time, there's a 2-hour documentary, and I have it in the description box. I didn't want to play too much of it because it does have profanity, and I didn't want to play that here on the channel because some kids do watch, and I have students to watch as well, former students. And so watch the 2-hour documentary when you get time, and tell me what you think, because this guy, this film director, he's saying that the whole thing, Joel Gilbert, he's saying the whole thing was a hoax, and it was for money, and that young lady who testified that she was Trayvon's girlfriend, she was not. He actually found Trayvon's real girlfriend. So check it out, and guys, let me know what you think. And Lola, I guess we're going over to the Jobu Sports Report now to see what Mark Holmes is doing. Okay, so everyone have a good evening, and I will see you Sunday. Thank you for spending your time here with the Rollins Reviews YouTube channel.